What up, good people of the world, of the nation, the world, what up? How's it going? Hope you guys are doing well. My name, as always, is Mike. That hasn't changed. So I kind of wanted to keep on the trend of mentality talk and improvement. I think that's kind of the content that I would want to absorb, especially when I was coming up. There wasn't a lot of content around that. And today I want to talk about tournament goals, tournament mindset, and what the right type of mindset to have is. I alluded to having a goal-oriented mindset a couple videos ago. But I saw a tweet recently that really reminded me about it and just kind of inspired me to make this video. It was about this person who was talking about how they really want to make it out of pools. And then Envy, if you guys don't know Envy, aka twitter.com/@Falco, had a very good tweet. I'm looking for this and I hate Brock so much. Like, my video editor is such a fucking troll. Look what he sent me. Look at me. Why would you send me this? Come on, man. So yeah, Envy was responding to this tweet talking about getting out of pools. And he said, it will become significantly easier when your goals are oriented toward improvement overall and less about specific achievements. And yeah, that tweet really hit home for me. As a player, I've gone through a bunch of different experiments in terms of like having different types of mindsets. And as I've grown as a player, I've definitely changed my mindset and just my overall like perception of competition and my view of competition as a whole throughout the years, right? I've tried a lot of different things. I've changed a lot of different things up just to kind of come to what I perceive as optimal. And yeah, I just want to say that this, of course, is just my opinion of what I think is an optimal mindset. But when I do talk to other top players about this kind of stuff, it seems like we do share similar thoughts. So yeah, I just want to kind of throw this out there to you guys. Hopefully you can take something from it. And yeah, let's get started. So I think when it comes to tournament mindset, I think the immediate thing a lot of people think about is just kind of like, I want to be focused and I want to win this match and I want to play well, maybe not be nervous, just some of those basic things. So while a lot of these like thoughts and goals come naturally with competition, I think it's important, first of all, just to spend time thinking about what type of goals you want to set for competition. Like, what is your main goal out of all this? Ultimately, having structured goals and a structured mindset is going to improve you as a player overall. You're going to grow a lot faster than other people. Like, if you've been preparing for nerves and you go into your tournament match and you start getting nervous, you're a little more prepared to handle that, right? But today I specifically want to talk about learning mindset, which is kind of like a goal-oriented mindset versus a like playing to win mindset, because I think those are very different things. And I think one is definitely better than the other. So for a long time when I was competing, I didn't necessarily really have goals outside of just winning. Winning was my number one priority, like at tournaments for a very, very long time. And you can actually see that in a lot of my older matches. Like, I definitely remember just putting my headphones in and camping Hugo for like 6 minutes just because like my entire goal was only to win. I would just kind of have this mindset of like, I need to win this match and that's all that matters. Which, of course, as a competitor, right? Like, that's totally valid, right? We're in a competition. Obviously, you want to do what it takes to win, right? Like, that's the whole point of a tournament. A tournament is to gauge who the best player is for that day. And the whole point of that is winning, right? Someone's going to be a winner at the end of the day. That's why we enter. Totally valid mentality to have. But it comes at a fault. The problem with this mentality is that you are only focused on winning. That is your only goal. So what happens when you don't reach a goal? You feel disappointed, right? And I can't tell you guys like how frustrating it is to have your only goal at an event be to win the tournament or win and not accomplish that, right? Just failing at a goal just feels really bad. And anytime things wouldn't go my way in a tournament match, let's say something stupid happened, or let's say I just simply got outplayed, like I would feel really bad about that. I would feel like I failed. I felt like a failure. I felt really like empty, like I didn't accomplish what I set out to do. And a lot of the times I would feel this way, like right when I got sent to losers bracket, actually, like I would lose my winners match. And then I have this mentality of like, fuck, I failed. And then I'm in my losers bracket match, just like playing, trying to claw my way back to, grand finals or claw my way back to like top 8. But I'm already feeling bad about myself. I'm already feeling bad about my performance. So basically my point is like having these types of like objective goals isn't necessarily a healthy mindset, or that can't be your only goal basically. Like before I was even good enough to do well at like majors or like regionals, I would even set goals at locals. I'd be like, okay, I want to get top 32 at this tournament, or top 16 at this tournament. I want to make it out of pools or whatever it might be. And like those goals I think are kind of fun, like short term, because like you can see yourself improving and you could be really proud of yourself when you make it out of pools or you make it to top 32 or top 64 or whatever. Like long term though, it's just like not healthy at all. So I think having results oriented goals are totally fine for the short term, but making that your big priority, winning, is ultimately going to leave you unfulfilled. Like basically anytime you don't win an event, you're going to be left feeling like shit. And yeah, keeping it real with you guys, like I did feel unfulfilled for a long period of time. Like I did kind of feel like shit about Melee for a very long time. Like I was still successful. I was still killing it in tournament. I was still doing amazing. but I didn't really feel good about it. And that's the other part of it too, is like, even when I would win, I wouldn't take satisfaction in those wins, you know? Like, I would get a huge win, I'd beat somebody crazy. Like, I remember even beating Mango. Like, I beat Mango. Like, that's crazy, right? I should be really happy about that and proud of myself and have this sense of accomplishment. But the only thing I felt was like a brief moment of like, hell yeah, I did it. But then also like, cool, fuck it, that's what should happen. I need to win this tournament. Anytime I'd basically win a match, like, I wouldn't take satisfaction and be proud of myself. Like, I wouldn't. I would just kind of win and I'd be like, okay, cool, on to the next match. So I think that's taking the concept of like playing to win to a very extreme level, of course. And I think I was like on the super far side of that. But I do think there are goals that you can set that will be much healthier in the long term. And this is where I kind of go into this learning mindset. So all these result-oriented ideas fall into a category of what I would call of like objective goals, right? It's like performance-based. It's an objective standard that you're trying to set for yourself. And obviously I was like really far on one side of the spectrum, right? I was in like super Terminator mode. Winning was the only thing that mattered. So I was like really far deep on that end. But then I started learning more about what I would call non-objective goals. And I don't really know how I started learning about this. I think I just started like questioning my thoughts and opinions on tournaments and goals and stuff. But at some point I started thinking about non-objective goals. So these non-objective goals are basically goals that you can accomplish in a tournament that aren't results-based, they're not objective, and they all have to do with how you're feeling. So basically, there is no objective answer here. You are the one who is going to be analyzing how you felt about everything. You are going to be the one who is dictating whether or not you failed at these goals. So I remember the first non-objective goal I ever set for a tournament was, I want to play more focused. Going to a tournament and having my only goal be to play more focused was a huge game changer for me. Like, I remember going to that tournament and playing a lot more relaxed, a lot more focused, obviously, and I just felt a lot better about the overall tournament. I wish I could pull up the event results because I actually don't remember what specific event it was. I think it was like a Mayhem, you know, when those used to happen in SoCal. I think it was just one of those tournaments. But I do remember just feeling pretty good about how I felt overall. Like, even if I didn't place as well, you know, as my previous standards would dictate, I still overall felt pretty good about that tournament. So after that tournament, I remember coming home and, you know, my only goal was to play more focused. And I was able to look at that and reflect and see that, oh, wow, yeah, I did play more focused than the last tournament. And I did play pretty focused. Cool, good job. And that was it. And I took satisfaction in that. And I felt really good. And overall, I felt good about the tournament, right? Like, even if I didn't end up placing in top 8 or whatever, like, I still felt good about it. And I think it was just a much healthier mindset to have, other than you must win, and if you don't win, you are a failure. Like, that's the difference between it. So from there on, I started trying different non-objective goals. I started trying ones like, okay, well, this tournament, I want to focus on being less nervous or being more present in the match, right? Or maybe outplaying my opponent a bit more. Maybe trying whatever I've been working on throughout the week. So when I would come home, again, at the end of the tournament, I can analyze myself. I can analyze my day. How did I feel? And if I felt good, then it was a good day. It was a good tournament, right? Regardless of placement. And overall, like, I just felt a lot better about tournaments. I felt a lot better about myself. I didn't put my entire worth, put my entire value on whether or not I won the tournament, which I probably wasn't winning anyway. I stopped putting all of my value in results and placements and started putting my value into how I felt and how I felt I performed. Putting it on something that I can actually break down and see. And of course, there were also days where I didn't feel fulfilled as well, right? I still felt bad, right? I would go to a tournament and maybe I'd get like stoned or something and I wouldn't focus as much as I should have, right? I'd feel pretty bad about that sometimes. Or just days where I was like overly nervous and I would still feel bad. And, you know, let me tell you, I still get nervous to this day, but I'm just saying that, you know, I didn't always come home from a tournament feeling great. Like, I still have these goals that I can not succeed at, but ultimately having me being the one who sets the standard of success makes me a lot happier and a lot more fulfilled. And ultimately, I think it's just a better mindset to have. Like, again, having a objective mindset is totally fine for the short term. Like, let's say I was looking at a tournament that's happening in like 3 months from now, and, you know, I haven't been playing recently. I might set a goal that's going to be like, okay, I want to get top 128 or I want to get top 64 at this tournament. And having a goal like that is totally valid, right? Like, that's a realistic goal. But the point there is that it's a realistic goal. Having realistic, objective goals is what is important. You can't have goals like, I need to win every match. I need to win this tournament. I need to beat every opponent, because there's so many variables that can happen, right? Like your opponent can just be really hot that day. Your opponent can be playing on fire and just destroy you. Maybe you didn't sleep well, or like someone in your hotel room is snoring all night and now you're kind of off your game and you lose, and that happens. There are variables that happen. So ultimately having a goal like that is just unreachable, right? It's never going to be realistic every single time. But having like non-objective improvement-based goals are ultimately going to lead you to be a better player. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel good about the tournament. And yeah, you'll still be let down sometimes, but at least you can gauge how much you've improved or how much you didn't improve at the tournament. Setting goals that you can improve on little by little will ultimately just make you a way better player over time. Like let's say every tournament you go to, you just want to set a goal on being more aware than you were in your previous match or in the previous tournament. Like think about that. If that's your goal for an entire 6 months, you're going to constantly be improving, and you're constantly going to be getting better and better and better, and you're going to be more focused and more focused, and ultimately you're going to be a sick player, right? Like it's honestly inevitable. Like if that's your goal, is to constantly play more focused and play more aware, like you're going to be such a sick player. You're going to be Zane Jr., By the end of a year, you'll be Zane 2. Okay, maybe not a year, maybe 5 years or 10 years, and that's assuming Nintendo doesn't cancel the entire scene. But that's a different topic for a different day. But yeah, that's all I got. Again, non-objective goals, learning mindset, improvement, Zane Jr., fuck Nintendo, fuck COVID, goodbye.